Assalamualaikum and good morning to Ms. Farhana. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to present our group assignment title, Policy and Practice, Growth Development and Sustainability through Malaysia's National Water Resources Policy and National Urbanisation Policy 2. My name is Nur Hazira. I will to present our introduction and our objective for this assignment. As we know that national development policies play a crucial role in shaping countries' directions. In Malaysia, natural resources like rivers, lakes, and abundant rainfall have always been an asset. However, modern challenges such as rapid urbanization, industrial expansion, climate change, and population growth have been created significant pressures on these resources. Without proper planning and updated policies, Malaysia could face serious threats like a water scarcity, environmental degradation, inequality development between regions, and worsening urban issues such as overcrowding and populations. Recognizing these challenges, the government introduced two key frameworks, which is the National Water Resources Policy (NWRP) in 2012 and the National Urbanisation Policy (NUP2), which runs from 2016 to 2025. The NWRP focused on ensuring water security through integrated water resources management. It provides guidelines to manage water sustainability, protect aquatic ecosystems, strengthen governance, and improve community awareness. By doing so, it aims to balance Malaysia's economic growth with environmental protection, which ensuring that future generations have access to clean, sufficient water. Meanwhile, the National Urbanisation Policy 2 addresses the opportunities challenges that come with rapid urban growth. With more than 75% of Malaysia's population living in urban areas, it is essential that cities grow in a planned, inclusive, and sustainable way. NUP2 sets out clear directions for better urban governance, affordable housing, integrated transport, green infrastructure, and resilience against climate-related risks. It also aligns with global goals such as SDG 11, sustainable cities and communities, and supports balanced regional development. Next, given this background, our assignment sets out to achieve three clear objectives. First, we aim to examine the significance of the National Water Resources Policies and the National Urbanisation Policy 2 in steering Malaysia's sustainable development. We will explain how these policies provide practical frameworks to manage water efficiently and guide urban expansions in a balanced way. Second, we will analyze how successful the implementation of these policies has been so far and evaluate their contributions to Malaysia's economic growth and development. For example, we will look at improvements in water quality, investments in urban infrastructure, job creation, and how these outcomes align with national plans like the 12th Malaysia Plan and the Share Prosperity Vision 2030. Third, we will assess whether these policies are truly effective in addressing Malaysia's current challenges and preparing the country for the future. This includes identifying any gaps, implementation barriers, and opportunities for improvement to ensure that water resources are secure, cities remain livable, and development remains sustainable for generations to come. Okay. By the end of our presentation, we hope that to highlight the importance of well-designed policies in balancing economic growth, environmental protection, and human well-being. That's all for us, and we look forward to sharing our analysis in the next sections. That's all from me. Thank you.
Today, I'll be presenting an overview and analysis of Malaysian National Water Resources Policy, which is launched in 2012. The policy envisions Malaysia as a tropical Asian frontier in integrated water resources management (IWRM) by the year of 2040. This vision is aligned with the 12th Malaysian Plan, which emphasizes managing water as a strategic national asset that supports sustainability, economic growth, and the quality of life. The mission of the NWRP is to guide Malaysia toward efficient and equitable water management. This includes sustainable resource use, legal and institution reform, conservation of aquatic ecosystem, and promoting water conservation practice. The policy is built upon four key objectives. Firstly, water for people. This is to ensure all citizens have access to safe, affordable, and sufficient water and sanitation. Next, water for food and rural development. This is to secure enough water for national food security and rural growth. Next, water for economic development. This is to provide sufficient water to fuel a high-income economy. Lastly, water for the environment. This is to protect biodiversity and minimizing water-related hazards such as floods or drought. NWRP is structured around 9 strategic thrusts. Firstly, water intelligence. This involves creating a comprehensive national water data system to support evidence-based decision and better governance. Next, water resources integrity. This trust focuses on defining national standards for water quality and quantity, ensuring the protection of both surface and groundwater bodies, and reducing vulnerability to threats like pollution or overuse. Next, use of alternative water sources. This encourages the reuse of treated wastewater and the integrated use of various sources to reduce stress on existing supply system. Next, water disaster risk management. This includes developing national plans for disaster preparedness and response, particularly in relation to floods and droughts. Next, resource characterization criteria. Establishing national standards to ensure consistency in how water resources are assessed and managed. Next, conservation and protection. This aims to preserve water sources and prioritize usage during emergency. It ensures access is equitable and ecosystem remain healthy. Next, stakeholder engagement. It promotes both formal and informal consultation with communities, NGOs, and marginalized groups to ensure inclusive governance. Next, shared governance. This trust support collaboration between federal, state, and local agency and stakeholders, reducing duplication and improving resource efficiency. Next, capacity building and awareness. The policy emphasizes training water-related personnel, investing in innovation, and raising public awareness to promote sustainable water practice. Collectively, these trusts provide the strategic direction needed for Malaysia to manage its water sustainably in the long term. The NWRP plays a critical role in Malaysia's economic growth and development. It ensures a reliable water supply for key sectors like agriculture, which currently consume more than 50% of national water demand, and for industry and household, where demand is projected to rise sharply by 2050. The policy also helped to reduce economic losses from water-related disaster by protecting catchment area and strengthening infrastructure. Furthermore, it promotes water as valuable economic commodity, encouraging efficiency, innovation, and job creation. An important measure of its success is the river water quality. According to the Department of Environment Malaysia in 2023, 72% of 672 monitored rivers were clean, 24% were slightly polluted, and only 4% were polluted. This shows the positive impact of the policy in improving water management outcomes, which also benefits sectors like tourism, public health, and agriculture. Finally, the NWRP aligned with the several major economic growth and development theories. Firstly, the solo growth model suggests that infrastructure and natural resources are a key driver of long-term economic output. The NWRP directly supports this by improving water infrastructure and reliability, thus enhancing productivity across sectors. Secondly, the endogenous growth theory emphasizes human capital, innovation, and institutional strength as driver of sustainable growth. The NWRP focus on R&D partnership, capacity building, and water governance reform clearly reflect this element. By investing in new technologies, promoting recycled water use, and improving institutional resilience and the NWRP support Malaysian path towards sustainable and inclusive growth. In conclusion, the National Water Resources Policy is not just a framework of environmental sustainability, but also a pillar for national development and economic resilience. By aligning with key growth theories and addressing both human and ecological needs, the NWRP positioned Malaysia for a water secure and prosperous future.
So as we can see, the vision itself is to promote inclusive, green, and livable city by 2025. So by right, this is the year of 2025. We can see how livable the Malaysia city are, which is Kuala Lumpur, and how inclusive it is. It's carry out a very inclusive growth in terms of people's are coming there to work. That's what we can see, the vision. So the mission is self-connected living, strong governance, competitive economy, green development, integrated planning. And this all mission, I can say it is nearly, okay, we can say it is partially achieved, or we don't see it. So let's see forward to the strategic trust. So the first of all, good governance. Here, this means it's in terms of managing cities in a fair, transparent, and efficient way. So basically, it's involve a strong leadership and clear laws, and including the public decision making. So we take an example of Kuala Lumpur City. So it doesn't mean that we have to put leadership on only towards a prime minister to manage all the city in Malaysia. So in this way, we should have a systematic way. So this is one of the target of good governance, to have its own system to manage the city, only the city. So in this case, we can see that Kuala Lumpur now have Datuk Bandar. If I'm not mistaken, we have Datuk Bandar. So that is how this policy implemented. So we can see the good governance there. So second one is livable city. So what does it mean by livable city? Here, a city must be safe, clean, comfortable, and offer a good quality of life of its people, include things like housing, public transport, and green spaces. So in this case, Kuala Lumpur, we can see how the public transport is being localized each year. It's being people are using public transport because of, we know how the traffics in the middle of cities are. So third one, which is competitive economy, as you can see there, urban areas should support business growth, job creation, and innovation, which help cities grow stronger economically and attract investment, obviously. Whenever we believe that in economy, when we be able to attract the investment, it will enable us to gain a large margin in terms of national income. So the fourth strategic trust is basically an inclusive development. As I mentioned earlier on, which is about the livable city, good governance, and also in the mission itself, it's promote inclusive development. I mean to say inclusive means that everyone are joined up the economy in terms of development, which they emphasize on no one should be left behind. Means development should benefit all groups in society. No discrimination, no inequality. Meaning to say, whenever there is an urbanization places like Kuala Lumpur, city of Kuala Lumpur, so there should be an inclusive development. Everyone gets job. Everyone have money to spend. So in that way, circular economy says that we're going to earn the marginal certain income. Whenever people have money to consume, they consume. Increase in consumption, we increase in GDP, we increase in aggregate demand, aggregate income. So the fifth trust, which is green environment. This is one of the way we are echoing to the Sustainable Development Goal by United Nations. And we believe that cities must grow in a way that protect nature, and this includes reducing pollution. That's why we enable a new policy, which is a renewable energy. More like clean energy. So this also include the reducing pollution, managing waste, and promoting sustainable practices to fight climate change. And also this echoing to Sustainable Development Goal. So we move forward. Graph shown you the approved investment that we get, the data from MIDA, which is Malaysia Investment Development Authority. And this has showcased that Selangor received a lot of approved investment. Mean to say there's a lot of people coming here for investment. Mean to say the urbanization has takes place in Selangor, Kuala Lumpur, Penang, Johor, and that's what attract the investor to invest in Malaysia. Because of in here, based on the data itself, it is at the price of 318 billion ringgit Malaysia, the investment being approved, which the indicator is 84% of the total investment in Malaysia. And this has carried out the meaning how this policy matters the most in Malaysia. So we can see the urban GDP share of this urban sector, urban places like Selangor, as I mentioned earlier, which is 75%, and how the urban population has carried out 78% from the total of population in Malaysia. And this not come alone with the investment. Investment come with a price of job creation. Mean to say, investor coming here where and employment, okay, they create employment. Whenever they create employment, people become migrate for a job. They get in disposable income. At the end, it's going to increase in consumption, increase in investment. They're going to lead to increase in our national income. So, and this is the economic growth as well as innovation hubs like Kuala Lumpur, Selangor, and Penang. And that's how big this National Urbanization Policy 2 are to Malaysia economy. So here is the last part of me in this National Urbanization Policy 2. So let's look forward to how this National Urbanization Policy 2 link to the economic growth and development theory that we learn. So the first and foremost, which is that is Lewis model. So this is how this National Urbanization Policy 2 support to link to this Lewis model. So first of all is the movement of labor from rural to urban areas by promoting urban job opportunities and infrastructure. This reflects the Lewis model, which explains that shifting surplus labor from agriculture to cities help drive industrial and economic growth. Second model is solo growth model, which is about the capital innovation, increased productivity. Meaning to say, capital investment and technology improvement are key to long-term productivity growth. The third theory, which is endogenous growth theory, which is in terms of education, training, and knowledge-based industry in urban areas. This investment in human capital aligned with endogenous growth theory, which growth come within the economy through the skills and innovation. I mean to say, human capital, we have the human capital, we should utilize it to the fullest, meaning to say that we have to use the human capital for our development. And the fourth theory is Harry-Doma theory, which about investment lead to growth. And in National Urbanization Policy 2, require a continuous investment in transport, housing, services, which matches the Harry-Doma model, which emphasizes about the increased investment, boost output, and economic growth. The fifth one is new economic geography, which is about the urban cluster boost efficiency. In this case, the creation of urban cluster and regional cities, and this shows that concentrating industry and people in urban center can reduce cost, increase efficiency, and create economic spillover. So the sixth and the last one, which is Todaro model, in terms of managing migration and urban pressure, stress NUP2, or which is National Urbanization Policy 2, also stresses balanced migration by improving the rural areas and secondary cities. This connect the Todaro model, which says people migrate for a better job. So, but if urban areas grow too fast, it can lead to unemployment. And we can see how the migration in Malaysia that happened in Malaysia that fast because of just the development of the one cities like Kuala Lumpur will require all the peninsula Malaysia, or we can see the peoples who are coming from the rural part, which is it's not rural part, it's the region that are low income costs. I mean, low income, they will come to the cities like Kuala Lumpur to earn more income. They believe that by doing so, they will earn even more income, but they mislook about the potential cost of living in urban area that might be slightly higher than in the rural or regional part of Malaysia. So that's all from me. You go forward to the next presenter. Thank you.
Hi, good day everyone. My name is Nurul Naziwa binti Pali, and in this slide, we highlight how Malaysian National Water Resources Policy (NWRP) and National Urban Policy (NUP2) are linked to the Sustainable Development Goals (SDG). As you guys can see, both policies are closely aligned with multiple SDGs, such as Goal 6, Clean Water and Sanitation, Goal 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities, Goal 13, Climate Action. Moving on to this slide, we look at the human development impact on NWRP and NUP2. These two policies influence key areas like health, inequality, education, and income. For instance, access to clean water and safe water as promoted by NWRP improve health outcome by reducing the waterborne disease, which directly contribute to the better public health. Additionally, NUP2 focus on urban development tackles inequality by fostering inclusive and equitable growth. The policies aim to reduce income disparity by promoting equal access to resources like housing, education, and employment. Together, this policy create a more sustainable and equitable environment for all Malaysians.
Hi everyone, I'll now continue the presentation by discussing the evaluation section, starting with the National Water Resources Policy, NWRP. NWRP introduced 9 strategic thrusts to improve water governance. Some areas show good progress like water intelligence and shared governance, but overall, implementation is uneven. For example, water integrity and capacity building were only moderately achieved. Alternative water use, such as rainwater harvesting, is still limited. Conservation efforts remain inconsistent, especially in rural areas. This indicates that while NWRP has built the foundation for better water management, more consistent enforcement and stakeholder coordination are needed. Now, let's evaluate the National Urbanization Policy 2. The most successful area is clearly the competitive urban economy, which attracted 318 billion ringgit in investment and created over 207,000 jobs in 2024 alone. Meanwhile, good urban governance showed improvement with tools like the Malaysia Urban Observatory, but interagency coordination still needs work. Livable cities recorded a moderate progress, but affordable housing remains as a key issue. Last but not least, green development and clean environment remains the weakest pillar, mostly due to the weak local enforcement of tools like the urban growth boundaries. Both policies, NWRP and NUP2, face common specific implementation challenges. For the NWRP, the governance issues arise from water being a state matter, which limits coordination with national efforts. There are also problems like insufficient funding, technical limitations, and a low political will. For NUP2, challenges include inconsistent enforcement of zoning laws, weak coordination between federal and local governments, and limited planning capacity at the local level. In both cases, public awareness is still low and data integration remains incomplete, making it hard to monitor real-time progress. Urban pressures like pollution and infrastructure demand further complicate these things. Despite these challenges, there are clear opportunities. For NWRP, expanding frameworks like Integrated River Basin Management (IRBM) and improving real-time water monitoring can significantly boost water security. For the second policy, NUP2, enforcing urban growth boundaries and transit-oriented development can control urban sprawl more effectively. There's also room for greater multi-sector collaboration, including NGOs and the private sector. And finally, both policies strongly support the Malaysia's Sustainable Development Goals, like the SDG 6, 11, and 13, creating the potential for broader national and international impact. Lastly, let's look at the national and global implications. Nationally, both policies support the Shared Prosperity Vision to 2030 by reducing inequalities, improving infrastructure, and enhancing quality of life. Globally, the NWRP supports SDG 6 on clean water and SDG 13 on climate action, while NUP2 aligns with SDG 11 on sustainable cities and the UN's new urban agenda. Together, these policies elevate Malaysia's position in global sustainability efforts. In fact, national indicators like Malaysia's Happiness Index have improved, reflecting better living standards linked to these policies.
In the conclusion, both the NWRP and NUP2 play a crucial role in Malaysia's sustainable development. NWRP has contributed to improving water security and building the environment resilient, which are vital for the country's long-term development. On the other hand, NUP2 has driven economic growth, generating over 200,000 jobs and attracting significant investment. However, both policies still face challenges such as weak enforcement, urban sprawl, and ongoing inequalities. To fully realize their potential, future reform should focus more on strengthening the implementation, fostering better interagency collaboration, and ensuring climate-resilient infrastructure. By addressing this challenge, Malaysia can continue to move towards achieving its sustainability goals. I think that's all for our group. Thank you.